with the combined. And we are one of the authorized representatives of King's College London, assisting students pan-India to study at this prestigious university. I've had the opportunity to visit many of its campuses. It's a very popular destination. And thank you for Dolan Mitra, Regional Manager for South Asia and Southeast Asia and Middle East and Africa, who's taking the time to give us a brief overview of department's courses and entry requirements, some career destinations, and we'll take Q&A after that. Encourage you to watch the presentation, put your questions in the Q&A section, and we'll take it by turn. Thank you, everyone, and over to you, Dolan.
Well, thank you, Ranveer. I will quickly share my screen without wasting a lot of time. So let's see if it comes up nicely. Just tell me if you can see it.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So thanks again for inviting me today, and a warm welcome to all of you who are going to be watching this session. So my name is Dolan, and I look after a few regions for marketing and student recruitment for King's. In case you want to be in touch with King's beyond the session, we would request you to, scan this QR code. Of course, it's optional. It's just that it would help us to invite you for our future online, offline events which King's organizes. And of course, there are some sessions we have academics, alumni, student ambassadors with whom you can connect and get more perspectives about the university. So yeah, you can scan it, or if you miss it now, no problem. I will put in a link in the chat box later for you to fill in the form and submit it. Okay. So now it's very difficult to give a brief overview of King's. I know Ranveer asked me to, talk for about 20-30 minutes, but honestly, I can talk about King's the whole day if I had the opportunity. There's really so much to talk about it because we are an oldish university. We're about 200 years old. And we were founded by the king, the then King of England, King George IV and Duke of Wellington. We are a Russell Group university, in case you're not aware what Russell Group is. Essentially, these are like research-focused, prestigious universities, something loosely similar to the Ivy League of the US. So we're part of that. And lots of luminaries have passed through King's College London. Of course, not everybody gets a Nobel Prize, although we do have 14 Nobel Prize winners, but loads of scientists and researchers and important, luminaries in the world of politics and so on have studied at King's and contributed to the success of King's. So where rankings are concerned, I know students in India are very keen on rankings. So just to caution you, don't be obsessed with rankings. There's so much more to a university than rankings. So however, having said that, we do well in the ranking lists. So we are top 3 in London, the top 7 in the UK, and top 37 in the world as per the QS World University Ranking. So it kind of gives you a sense that we are a good university to be studying in. Now, King's is a medium to large university with about 43,000, 44,000 students. And students come from all over the world, about 185 countries around the globe. And out of those, we have about almost 1,000 students from India. So that's not too many and not too few, just I feel the right number, because the idea of going to university is to really be making friends and learning from students from all over the world. We do have 5 campuses in London, and we are in central London. So I'll just show you our location slide, which will give you a better picture. Right, so here we are right in central London. all of you may have heard of the London Eye, even if you have not visited it. That's number 6 in the center of the screen. So we are close to the London Eye. And we have, if you see the red boxes, they are our campuses or our hospitals and libraries. So from the graphic, it gives you a sense that we are pretty, the campuses are like spread out. But in reality, on ground, it's not so far from each other. So for example, number 1 and number 2, they're essentially opposite to each other. And number 1 to number 10 is just across the Waterloo Bridge. It takes about 10 minutes walking. So you will see that there is one campus on the lower right-hand corner, which is the Denmark Hill campus. That is our psychology, psychiatry, and neuroscience campus. That is a little south of central London. That's why it's in that box in the lower right-hand corner. Now, if you see the purple boxes, they are institutions of importance. So whether it's the Royal Courts of Justice or House of Parliament or the Financial District or National Theatre, policy making bodies or think tanks, they're all there, right? So we are right in the center, in the heart of all things that is important. Now, this is very useful to students, especially international students, because if you're studying in a good university, which is well located as well, then it's that much more useful. So whether it's for academic resources or for future career opportunities, all these are right at your doorstep, so to speak. And these institutions are not just close to us. We also have links with quite a few of them. So the Students for Law, we have links with the Inns of Courts or the Royal Courts of Justice, which is just across the road. And whether if it's for the media or the culture space, then we have links with Shakespeare's Globe, with British Film Institute, with the National Theatre and so on. If it's politics, we have links with the House of Commons and policy-making bodies and think tanks and all that. So whatever you want to study, whether it's in the management or the finance sector, you'll have access to a lot of opportunities as such. So, so as you can see, it's a good place to be in, right in the heart of legal London or technology London or financial London or cultural London. That's the place to be in as a student. And London is also has been voted the best student city 3 times. So it's that means that it is a city which has a lot of resources for students. It is a safe city, and of course, lots of opportunities as well. So moving on to our campuses. Now, a closer view this is a closer view of our Strand campus. It will give you a sense of the building and the space that we have. So this is a campus where quite a few of our faculties are located: Arts and Hums, Dixon Poon School of Law, Engineering as well, and also Social Science and Public Policy. This is our biggest campus. This is our business school. It's in the Bush House. Now, Bush House is again a very famous, iconic building in central London. Well, the BBC used to have its offices in Bush House. They have moved out of Bush House, and we have occupied a large portion of it. So this is where our business school is located. And if you look at the Waterloo campus, again, quite a few faculties are located here. This is also a biggish campus. And then we have our health campuses. We have the Guy's campus. So Guy's campus is, it's the name of the campus, not just that only guys study here. So I get this quite often from my students. So that's why I just wanted to clarify that. Well, we have a Guy's hospital as well. So we have 4 hospitals, and this is one of them. And another medical campus is our St. Thomas's campus. This is another hospital. This is where Boris Johnson was admitted when he was down with COVID. So thankfully he's all good now. Now this I mentioned as the campus which houses our psychiatry, psychology, and neuroscience. So this is the Denmark Hill campus, another very famous institution. It produces the second largest research in the world after Harvard. So a good place to be in for sure. Now, this is one of our biggest libraries. This is the Mon Library. So Mon Library is, again, you can see from the size itself, it's a pretty large library, and it's really a treasure trove of resources. If you want to excel in academics at King's, and there's no end of resources at your disposal. Excuse me. Right, so before I come to the undergrad and postgrad courses, just a quick look at our short courses. So we offer winter, summer courses. So winter, we started during COVID times. This is for 15 to 17-year-olds, school students. So this is an online 7-day course, which is usually held in February, and a few courses are offered there. We do have a very popular summer at King's program. So we have the pre-university summer school. This is for, let's say, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, and 18 plus as well. We have a couple of sessions. So this is a 2-week course, which is held in summer, that's in July. These are offered as a face-to-face on-campus course, and an online version of it is also available. These are wonderful taster of university experience. So if you want to get a sense of what it is to study in a big university, what it is to be taught by experts, what it is to make friends with students from all over the world and learn from each other. So this is a wonderful experience, a wonderful taste of that, right? And similarly for students who are currently at the bachelor's level, they are studying at, let's say, in a college or university. For them, we have the university level summer school. This will be a 3-week program. And again, various courses are offered here, various subject areas are offered here. And it's not necessary that you should be doing a summer school, on a subject area which you wish to which you're already studying or which you wish to pursue at the bachelor's or master's level. You can really do it in a different subject altogether, just because you are curious about it, or you have some interest in it, right? Let me just show you the undergraduate courses then. So we have 9 faculties. So obviously I've just picked up a few from those 9 faculties. And I've grouped them into 5 subject areas, because it's really difficult to kind of, fit everything in. It's quite a variety. 9 faculties, from computer science to biomedical sciences to politics to law to English literature to music, film, engineering, and so on. So undergrad courses can be 3-year programs, can be 4-year programs. So, for example, we offer study abroad, we offer, industry years. So in case there is a study abroad year offered or an industry year offered, then the 3-year program can become a 4-year program, right? And there are some courses which have a little bit of flexibility. For example, we have the BA in Liberal Arts, where you do kind of choose your major at the end of the first year. So of course, these majors are mainly arts and humanities or social sciences. So we don't include management subjects or let's say psychology in our BA Liberal Arts program. Now, if you're interested in something like, let's say, a bioscience program, so we have 6 to 7, biosciences offering, from anatomy to neuroscience to biomedical sciences. So, so what happens is these students, they study a common year one. So after the common year one, you can again choose a particular specialization. So maybe you had applied for a BSc in biomedical science, but after the common year one, you wish to switch to a BSc in neuroscience. So that is possible. So this kind of flexibility is offered for certain subjects only, right? And the entry requirement well, it depends on the subject, right? So there is an overall entry requirement, and there could be a subject-specific requirement as well. Okay, so if you're studying the A levels, then the entry requirement can vary from A star A to ABB, depending on the course that you wish to study. Similarly, IB diploma, we require usually 35 points overall for 99% of our subjects, and we are looking at the HL subjects only. So 3 HL subjects at either 776 to 665, depending on the course. And CBSE, ISC, it could range from 93% to an 80%. And if it's a CBSE, ISC, then the English language test becomes compulsory. Even if you have very high scores in your English, you will still have to take the IELTS or the TOEFL or the PTE, all right? And there could be some courses where there is no subject-specific requirement. For example, law. Law doesn't require any specific background as such, right? So if we are looking at predicted scores of either A star AA or 35 points in IB with a 766 in the 3 HLs, or a 90% in either CBSE or ISC. And now with law, we also require the LNAT additionally, which is the aptitude test. I'll talk about it in a bit. And if you're looking at, let's say, a computer science has a higher entry requirement with an A star A with a grade A in maths or further maths. So here, a subject requirement is there. You need maths here. Again, if you're doing the IB, then it's 35 overall and 776 in higher levels with a 6 in HL maths. Now, HL maths could be either AA or AI. Similarly, maths will be required from CBSE, ISC as well, 93 overall and 85% in maths. Now, if we're looking at, let's say, a course like general engineering or electronic engineering or economics, they'll all require maths. Okay. Now, where it's general engineering or electronic engineering, if you're doing the IB, then the AA maths will be required. Okay. So, yes. So, so you have to be a little vigilant as to what the specific entry criteria is for that particular course. Every information is available on the course page in the website, so nothing to worry about. So you apply to the Ucas, and there are 5 choices. There's one person statement which goes to all the 5 different choices, right? And there are deadlines to adhere to. So if you're applying for medicine or dentistry, or if you're applying to Oxford and Cambridge, then you have to apply by 15th of October of 2022 if you're looking at a September 2023 session, right? And however, for the other subjects, the deadline will be 25th of January 2023. Okay. So what do we look at in a Ucas application? So we want to see the predicted scores, of course, because when you apply as an undergrad student, you're in your 12th grade, right? You don't have your A-level results or IB or CBSE, ISC results in hand. So we have to ask for the predicted scores, without which we will not be able to assess the application at all. So through the predicted scores, we'll see whether you're suitably qualified. We also look at the 10 scores to see that you have proven academic record. We see the personal statement very, very carefully because we want to see that you have the right skills and you have a lot of passion for the subject. We ask for one reference, right, which your counselor from your school or your teacher from your school will be writing. And the aptitude test is applicable only for law, that's the LNAT, and for medicine, which is the UCAT. Now, medicine is a longer, is a more kind of a more challenging application because it also requires work experience and it also involves interviews, right? So if the UCAT score is very high, then you'll be shortlisted for an interview. These are multiple mini interviews, which are usually held in London. So where postgrad courses are concerned, again, I have grouped it into 5 subject areas. Lots of subjects. We have more than 170 courses. So 150 plus courses at the undergrad level, 170 plus courses at the postgrad level. So there's from your computer science to stem cell to public policy to English history, to English literature, to history, to digital humanities. Lots of very, very unique courses. I mean, King's has a plethora of courses, and some of them are so unique, so niche, and what can I say? I mean, you need a lot of expertise to be able to actually offer these kind of courses, and even the depth and breadth of the modules are quite unique. So you need to go through all those course details to understand, which course is suitable for you. And in some of the subject areas, we offer like 25 courses, 26 courses, and so on. So for example, in psychology, we have 26 specializations. In biosciences, in life sciences, we have another 25, 26 specializations. And within international relations group, there are more than 30 special offerings. So we have a lot of depth and breadth in our offerings. So if you're, for example, if you are looking to study international relations, just don't go for the MA in international relations. See the related courses that are there, because of course, we receive too many applications for international relations, and therefore it becomes so very competitive. However, the other courses are equally strong, equally exciting, and it may turn out to be more suitable to your needs. So therefore, it is really advisable that you go through all the related courses that are offered within that group to get a better sense of which is the right course for you. Okay. I'm just mindful of the time, so I'll just I'll go to the entry requirements. So at the postgrad level, the entry requirements is something like this. So we, the universities in India, we have divided them into recognized universities, prestigious universities, and highly prestigious universities. So accordingly, the entry criteria will vary. So for example, let's say for management, we require a high to 1. So from a Mumbai University or a Delhi University, we will ask for an 8 on 10 or 65%. For, let's say from a prestigious university for the same course, we will ask for a slightly higher score, an 8.3 on 10 or 67%, right? So, so the English language test is compulsory at the postgrad level. There is no waiver. So please do write up your English language tests if you're planning to apply to King's, because there is no waiver, and a lower score will not be accepted. So if you're asking for 7 overall, 6.5 in each skill, then you have to have 7 overall and 6.5 in each of the skills. Even if you exceed it, let's say you have a 7.5 overall, however, 6 in one subsection and 6.5 in the others, we will still not accept it, because you just need to meet the minimum scores that we ask you to meet for the English language test requirement. Okay. So how to apply? Well, for the postgrad applications, there is no centralized system of applications as was the case for undergrad. It's a direct application. Either you apply through your agent or through the King's website, right? And certain documents need to be uploaded. They are your degree transcripts, whatever you have so far. You may be in your final year, no problem. You can still apply. If you're in a final year, you just need to submit the transcripts that you have so far. One reference is required in most cases. LLM doesn't require any reference. A personal statement, again, very, very important. And there could be an additional essay for certain courses, especially for the media courses and English courses, as well as for the Masters in International Management, we require additional essay, right? And for the Masters for MSc in International Management, there is also an additional video assessment, right? So that's also there. And this is only because we want to select the best students out of the wonderful, strong applications that we get, right? So we also, of course, require the English language test. And the application window is over a few months, let's say from October of the previous year to March of the session year. So the exact date when the applications will open hasn't been announced by admissions as yet. So usually it's the end of October till the end of March, right? And the processing time is pretty long at King's, so you have to have a bit of patience with King's. It can, we do say it can take 6 to 8 weeks, but we have seen in quite a few cases that it has taken much longer than that, right? So it's good to submit an early application if you are ready with your application documents. However, if you apply within the application deadline, even on the last date of the cycle, that is, let's say the end of March, it will be assessed for sure by admissions. Now, so again, what we look for is your degree scores. So what you have, what the scores that you have achieved so far in your degree is what we are interested in. We don't really look at your 10th or 12th scores if you're applying for a postgraduate course. We read the personal statement very, very keenly. We read the academic reference. And of course, the English language test is not assessed. We just want to see the scores. And if you have, considerable work experience of, let's say, more than 5 years or so, you can put in a CV. If you, there are certain few courses in the health sector where interviews may be held. And of course, the MSc in International Management, there is no interview, but a video assessment. So the statement of purpose, I was saying that, is something that we really very keenly read, whether it's at the undergrad level or at the postgrad level, because this is your opportunity to highlight your candidature and make yourself stand out. So in the undergrad level, there are 5 choices and the opportunity to write only one personal statement. However, at the postgrad level, you can be applying to different universities and you can have multiple personal statements. In fact, you should have different personal statements, slightly tweaked personal statements, depending on the different courses that you're applying to different universities. Now, at King's, if you write a general statement, if you are applying to, let's say, 5, 6 universities, and you've just written one general statement and you apply to King's with that, then it may not make you very competitive. So write one personal statement which is completely geared towards the course at King's which you are applying for. Now, in the personal statement, we look for your academic interests. So mainly these are essays where the focus is on why you are interested in that subject area or in that particular course. So at the undergrad level, because you're applying to 5 let's say 5 different universities, 5 different courses, you cannot really mention the name of the university. You shouldn't be mentioning the name of the university at all. So just stick to the subject area, right? However, at the postgrad level, you have to be very specific that this course is what I'm looking for at King's, and why so, right? So we want to understand why you're interested in either the subject area or the course, as the case may be, and well thought out reasons to wanting to study that subject area or that course. Okay, you just can't say things like I love law or I love finance. Yeah, there has to be specific, well thought out kind of reasons to wanting to do that, right? And we also want to see your suitability, what sort of aptitude you have, what sort of competency you have, what sort of skills you have, which make you suitable to study that particular subject area, to study that particular course, right? And we also try to assess whether you have a genuine enthusiasm for the subject area or for the course. So now you can show your genuine enthusiasm by your engagement with the subject area outside of your curriculum. And of course, you have great scores, which shows that you are doing well in your studies in your school or your college. However, do you pursue the subject outside of your curriculum as well? So maybe you read, maybe you follow documentaries, maybe you follow podcasts, maybe you write, maybe you have done your own research, maybe you have published those research, maybe you've done a project on your own, maybe you've developed an app, maybe you have your own startup, maybe you've built a robot, maybe you've done very interesting internships. So whatever may be the case, and whatever you have done, which is of value, which is related to the subject area, or you've gained skills related to the subject area, that will be evidence of your enthusiasm or passion. And we're looking for genuine enthusiasm. So don't do things for admissions, because it will come across just like that, come across as things done just for admissions. So this is something we look for: students who are genuinely interested in the subject area. And if you are aware of what your career goal is, at the undergrad level, sometimes students are not aware, which is fine. However, at the postgrad level, it is good to have an objective, and to tell, and to express through the essay that how this course will help you achieve that objective. So this is a little more kind of in focus for postgrad students. So where opportunities and career support are concerned, I don't know whether I have time, Ranveer, I'm carrying on. Just let me know when to stop and I'll stop.
That's fine, thank you.
So, so outside the classroom, there are a whole lot of opportunities. It's not just that you study from great academics and from great peers in the classroom, but also things that you can be engaged with outside the classroom. And in the City of London, we consider the City of London as the campus. So we have things like the 48-hour startup, the King's Investment Fund, visits to the London Stock Exchange, and lots of student societies. The King's Business Club is the biggest club of its kind in the UK. There are wonderful societies for women, for example, the KCL Women in Finance Society, and so on. So, of course, this is a focus on business and management, because generally business and management tends to be so popular. However, there are 300 plus student societies. There are 70 plus sports clubs. So you can be part of any. You can start your own society if you wish. So in case you have an idea, and for a startup, you are given like 2 days to have a plan for it. And if you win the competition, there could be venture capitalists who could be investing in your idea. So real tangible things happen at King's for students, and we have a lot of these amazing student stories at King's. If you want like real practical investment experience, there is a £20,000 investment fund, which is managed by students. And postgraduate students, they get to visit the London Stock Exchange. And the undergrad students, they also help the SME sector, with their issues. So these are, and they recently won an award for that purpose. For law students, we have something called a legal clinic, where law students kind of work under the supervision of lawyers from Duncan Lewis Solicitors or PwC. And there are clinical placements for psychology students. So there are lots of things which are there, which are available to students at various levels. If you're interested in research, even from the undergrad level, you can be part of these, amazing research that is happening at King's. We have something called the undergraduate research fellowship, which you can be part of, and there are summer research projects and other exciting competitions that are held, which you can, if you win, then you get more and more exposure. So career service is something which is quite big at King's. We have an overall career service. We have a career service dedicated to the King's Business School, and we have another career service dedicated to the law school, right? And what the career service does is, again, a range of things, really. So it does help you figure out, where the jobs are. It helps you also, hone your skills. It helps you to be able to apply to those jobs in the most effective way. And it organizes a huge number of events throughout the year, almost 1,000 events, different kinds of events, from job fairs to interactions with employers, to networking events, to employer workshops, to panels, to talks. So a lot of engagement, which of course you don't have to be part of everything, but it'll be good if you're alert as to what is happening in the campus, and to engage with activities which could benefit you in terms of your personal growth, in terms of honing your skills, and also in terms of your career opportunities while at King's and even beyond it. Okay, and these are, of course, because of good students, good environment, and a lot of good work done by careers. We are one of the most targeted universities by employers, and we're 7th in employability in the UK. Our students, again, this is a little management focused. They are employed in almost every important firm around the world, and the interesting thing to note is that our students tend to get some of the highest salaries in the UK. Okay, so you need to, there are certain things you can do to kind of learn more about the university before you apply or even after you apply. So you could be connecting with our students who are studying at King's, and also with staff. So we have the Unibuddy online chat system where you can chat with students who are currently studying, our student ambassadors, and also with staff and academics. Okay, so there are lots of questions related to maybe the course or the accommodation or the practical elements, and what it is to be a student at King's, or what's student life like, and so on and so forth. So you can gain more perspectives when you're considering King's, right? This is it really from me.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, Tommy.
So in case anybody's interested in the tuition fees, these are 2022 tuition fees. The 2023 tuition fees are yet to come up. So there's really a range of that. And we also have some scholarships, whether it's the summer school or the foundation program or the undergrad or postgrad. But undergrad level, there are very few scholarships, of course, only in a couple of courses. However, the postgrad, last year we offered in engineering, in law, in management, in psychology, and global leadership, and global health and social justice, public policy. So these are the scholarships that we offered last year. And now not every scholarship may be carried forward this year. However, it's most likely that the management scholarships will carry on. And most of these are part scholarships, right? They are some of these are big ones, like the Newsweek one is really big. It covers almost everything. The law ones are big. However, some of them are part, and they are merit-based. So, of course, there is an additional application for the scholarship. So it may be that once you have an offer, for example, for the management ones, once you have an offer, only then you can apply for the scholarship, right? So these information actually comes up in the website throughout the year. So it's not that at one shot you will have all the scholarship information right now. We can get information about scholarships even as late as April, May of the next year. Okay, so you need to be a little alert. So start early. It's really important that you start early because there's a lot of research to be done, and it's really important that you figure out the best place for yourself, because you need to understand whether the university is the right fit for you. So you should be good for us and we should be good for you. So this should be a perfect marriage. And finally, you can write to new students at kcl.ac.uk in case you have more questions. And I'll just take you back to the QR code in case you want to be in touch with Kings beyond the session. Right. So that's it from me, really. Randy. Thank you.
Yes, no, thank you so much, Dolan. It was very comprehensive and very informative. We have covered everything. I think a lot of the questions already, which is in the chat. And we have Devika Sen, who was a recent alum from King's College, which I mentioned. She's online now. If I could just request Devika to come online just for 2-3 minutes, give your experience of studying at King's and what you're doing currently and how the course helped you. Devika, would you like to put your speaker and video on?
Stop my share.
Yeah, go ahead, Devika. You have just a couple of 2 minutes, 3 minutes of your experience of studying at King's and what you're doing currently. Go ahead. We can't really hear you. Hi, Devika. You need to check your speaker. Right. I think in the meantime, whilst you figure out, Devika, we'll take the Q&A. If you can be online. We have a fair amount of questions and we have about 10 minutes left. So let's quickly go through the queries, which is starting off with Shayan Kakar. He's inquiring for his child who's got 95.6% in class 10, projected 93, IELTS 7. What are the additional requirements for taking admission in law for the LLB? I think, Dolan, you've already covered that. But perhaps you can just very briefly mention the LNAT and anything else which would be required apart from the grades which I mentioned here.
Right. Sorry, I didn't hear you properly. Is it about LNAT you asked?
Yes. Yes,
okay.
LNAT, he's got 95% in 10th, projected 93,
okay.
IELTS 7, and what are the additional requirements for LNAT law? LLB.
Right. So yeah, I mean, there is no specific subject requirement to study law LLB, as I mentioned earlier. Yeah, I mean, these are good predicted scores. 93% in class 12 CBSE ISC is fine, yep. Because 90% is is the minimum requirement. So remember, right. These are minimum requirements, and it's good to exceed that. That's great. The LNAT will be a very big filter for us. I come across students who are really, really strong in their academics. However, sometimes the LNAT doesn't go too well. So it's really important to have high scores in LNAT. Now, we do not mention any particular score that we require for a particular year. It really depends on all the scores that come in, and in submissions call to to assess a particular score for that particular year. So therefore, the score as high as possible. In some years, we have seen that we have accepted at 27, 28. In some years, even below that. So it's always much higher than the world average.
Okay.
And the IELTS score is 7 overall, 6.5 in each.
Right. Right. Okay. I'll just mark that as answered live. Yeah. Thank you, Shrein. If there's anything additional, you can raise your hand. We have Hemant, who's inquiring for business management. He's done a business manager from Cardiff, wants to do MSc in law with professional practice. I'm not sure whether he's eligible for that. Perhaps you can comment, Dolan.
Yeah, law with professional practice. Yeah, this is something which we have started recently. This is essentially for those who don't have a law degree prior. So, yes, I mean, you can study in terms of, from a different background, from a non-law background. However, just to check on the scores. So can I just understand what the scores the student has?
He's not mentioned, Hemant, if you want to put it in the chat. So
it's usually a high 2-1 is what we ask for.
Okay.
Okay. And anyway, I can just put up the link of the
I think that's easiest.
Just a moment. So there you go.
Yeah. Right. I hope that answers the question, Hemant. You should be eligible. Do send us your documents by email, and it's in the email addresses there.
Yeah. So just to clarify, because he's done it from Cardiff, right? So it will be a 2-1. It will be a minimum 2-1 in the undergrad degree. Yeah.
Right. All right. We have Adishi Sood inquiring about any UI UX programs in masters. I presume it's in the computer science section. I don't think there's any, is it?
We don't have like a full-fledged program on it, but there could be modules.
The modules.
There could be modules in different computer science or AI programs that we have.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi, Devika. If you're online,
I'm so sorry. There was there was some problem.
No, that's okay. You have just a couple, 2 or 3 minutes. It'll be useful just to say what you studied when at King's. I know you did the MSc Corporate Finance.
Yes.
And you worked in the VC community thereafter, but if you can just give us a brief.
So I did do my master's in corporate finance there, and I did it for a year. So I found the course quite challenging and quite intense, to be honest. But also, if you follow the right structure, they make it quite easy for you. They have divided it into lectures and seminars. The seminars are actually more important than the lectures because they show you the practical use of whatever you learn in the lecture. And like I can speak from my course, in M&As we had lots of projects and coursework, which are typically team-based, but it really gives you a good it gives you good exposure into whichever company or industry you want to work into. And most of the times, most of the complicated courses have internal exams, so not just final exams. So they help you throughout the course. And King's also has very good extra features. For example, for every finance course, there was a trading room. So you could go and learn how to trade. You could learn other finance instruments like Bloomberg, which was very important for me when I went into PC. Right. And then throughout the year, actually, we got speeches from Goldman Sachs. We got a community, a panel of IBD people who came in, and some of them worked in JP Morgan. That's how I got into my VC firm as well. by
Right.
connecting with one of them, one of the panelists. And
Right.
another very important thing I would like to say was joining private equity for societies and clubs, which really helped
Yeah.
me throughout my journey as well.
Yeah.
Um, I think those are the main ones. And just like one tip that no one actually says, but it's very important, is like going to your exams 1 hour early, because it always starts early than you
Right.
think.
Right. Right. Right.
And I
Okay.
think that's
Yeah,
what
pretty
I
much.
had to share.
Okay. Well, thank you. We can just stay online if there's any question
I
directed
think
towards you, if that's okay.
that's a great tip, Devika.
It's from personal experience, so I can assure you it's a great tip.
Exactly. I mean, in India, it's always starts a little late. However, there everything is before time. So that's
Yeah,
a good heads up. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Devika. If you want to stick around just for a few minutes, otherwise, let's just.
yeah, sure.
I'm wary of the increasingly long list in the Q&A, so let's just move on to anything which is specific. Okay, will King's College London allow
I would
IB/GPA
just,
candidates?
sorry,
Yeah,
Ranveer, this is
go
a
ahead.
bit important. I think what
Yes,
Devika just mentioned is
please,
really
please,
crucial.
please go ahead.
I wanted you to repeat how you got the opportunity in your current organization.
Okay, so I worked for a VC firm called Greenshaws in London, in Mayfair. So there was a panel of VCs and investment banking division students who were ex-students of King's College, and they went into work into investment banking and VCs. And they had been called by our private equity and investment banking society. And then there was a Q&A, and they were telling us about their life and their roles and everything. And they left their cards with us. So I decided to email them for 2 weeks, and then I called him and said, you know what, I just want an internship. I just want to learn. And I think he was just fed up with me. And then he said, okay, fine, why don't you come down and we'll have a talk.
Right.
That's how I got in.
So persistence pays off with the connections that King's has.
But this is exactly
Yes.
what I wanted her to kind of convey to the students, because this is how you get your opportunities. I mean,
Right.
students tend to feel that, okay, I have a degree and where is my job? So this kind of persistence and, reaching out and making use of opportunities through various, engagements at King's will help you find your job. So this was really invaluable. Thank you, Rebecca.
I think also when they go for the induction, they are going to be briefed on this, in the sense that like your seniors will tell you, and this is true because it has happened to me. Companies do block you because you try so many times, but you know what? It's still fine. It's still good to like keep trying till you can break the ceiling, because it's really hard to get into finance in London, since it's a little saturated, and it's everywhere in the world. It's not just
Yeah.
UK or
Yeah.
London.
Yeah. The
So
number
I
one,
think
number
that's
two world financial center. So, right. Okay. Thank you again, Deepika.
no
You
problem.
can stick on for a few minutes. We just have about 5-7 minutes left. Just if they can continue, Dolan, on the Q&A.
Yeah, sure. Please. Sorry to
No, please.
stop the flow. Yeah.
I'm just trying to see anything which is focused. Questions. I think scholarships we have pretty much covered. Nishkarsh Goyal, he didn't mention for which particular subject, but I think we can perhaps circulate that back to him in terms of scholarships. You did mention mainly more for postgrad and slightly less for the undergrad. There you have a slide on that. Would you like to add anything, Dolan, or shall we move on to the next?
No, please move on.
Yep.
There are some
Yeah.
MBBS questions which I can see.
Yes, on the yeah. Perhaps you'd like to take that.
Yeah,
Requirements for medicine. What is the work count X internships?
So yeah, I mean, what do you mean by internship, in the sense that if it is in a clinical environment, and of course, that will be quite suitable. But essentially, work experience can be anything really, from observation to engagement with public, to being in a clinical environment space. having some sort of interaction, which is of value outside of your known space.
Right.
So that is what we're looking for.
Right. And apart from the UCAT or BMAT requirement, right, which is anyway mandatory.
UCAT is required, of course, for King's. And if the student is applying to another university for medicine which requires BMAT, then both UCAT and BMAT will be required.
Right, right. I'll take that as answered live. Zishan from Mumbai. I'm studying at Mount Carmel, doing IB 12th grade. I want to do business management. What are the specializations available at KC King's? And what is the range of fees and accommodation? I think that's quite a broad question, but
Yeah,
perhaps worth answering. Yeah.
Just quickly to answer the business management question. So we do offer business management with an optional year abroad and an optional year in industry. Okay, and then there's international management. International management has a compulsory year abroad. It's not optional. So that makes it 4 years, right? And we also have economics and management. And we have a mathematics with management and finance. And we have a management with management and a modern language. So that's like a joint honors. So these are the, I would say, the non-finance management group. Of course, there's accounting and finance as well. Yeah, so, and there's pure economics in case you're interested.
Right.
Accommodation is, of course, there. Accommodation is, we have about 13 of them in central London. It could be opposite the campus or it could be 20 minutes, 30 minutes away, depending on where you're staying. And it's in central London, being 20, 30 minutes away is really nothing. It's considered to be close. That's how students live in central London. And what else was there? Fees. So fees, well, I would say around £30,000 or so for business management courses. The exact fees will come out in a bit.
Right. Thank you for that. Similar question on a similar line. Do you consider grade 10 scores as well, or just the predicted IB scores?
Yeah, so we do look at the 10 scores, but our main focus is on the predicted scores.
Okay.
So there are no scholarships for medicine at all.
Right.
No scholarships at all.
Right.
There are no scholarships for, we don't offer an MBA. So there are some questions on MBA. We don't offer an MBA.
I can say that. Right. Right. And any minimum cutoffs for UCAT at?
We don't, again, like LNAT, we don't mention any minimum score for that particular year. It's for the same reason, really. We have to wait for all the scores that come in by 15th of October. And then admissions takes a call, assesses the scores and takes a call as to what scores we would be accepting. But we don't publish it in the website. Right,
right. Perhaps you can just mention something on PhD programs. What is the kind of funding?
Yes.
If
PhD, yes. PhD, there is very limited funding. Okay, there are the ones that are funded, for example, in the Faculty of Bioscience and Medicine. There are a few which are fully funded or part funded. That is there on the website itself. So it's a very specific area, obviously, of research. And if it matches, then of course you can apply. However, for the other courses, we usually don't come across any advertised funding on the website. So you have to kind of approach the supervisor through the King's website and interact to understand whether there is any funding available for that particular subject area.
Right.
Or you can look at external sources of funding outside of King's. Yeah.
Right. Are retakes considered for IB candidates for medicine who don't meet minimum requirements? I guess.
Retakes meaning? I didn't understand. Retake.
Yes, allow IB retake candidate. I guess perhaps someone who didn't clear the diploma first.
Yeah. See, medicine is so competitive
Right.
it is really good to have everything in place in a proper way. However, I will have to really clarify with admissions what is our policy regarding retakes of IB. I've not really come across earlier where the IB has been retaken.
Right. Right.
And applying for medicine.
Right. I'll just put that as, please send me your documents for review.
If I'm short by 1% for 2.1 in UG, but whole master's degree with good score, will I be eligible for a second master's? Depends on the course, really. If you're looking at management finance, it's extremely competitive. I think they will agree with me how competitive it is to get into any of the finance and management courses. So again, we focus on the undergraduate degree. So it's really good to have the right scores. You need to at least match the entry criteria through your undergrad degree straight away. However, if it's another course in other subject areas, depending on the subject, yes, a master's degree can kind of give you a bit of an advantage there, but it really depends on that particular subject for that particular year and what the admission tutor thinks. So a lot of factors, really. There is no clear-cut answer to this.
Right. So perhaps on case-to-case basis to be reviewed. Right.
Yes.
Right. I think we have covered most of the specific questions, the ones regarding scholarships and other entry requirements. We'll follow up with the candidates. And if there's, I guess, for is there anything in particular which you'd like to close on in terms of?
Yeah, I can see there's some questions on PhD. Yeah, so PhD, well, there is a different process to apply for PhD.
Right.
I mean, it's a much longer process. There is we have a web page called kclpure.kcl.ac.uk. That is where all the all the supervisors with their research areas are listed. So you need to figure out which research area is matching with yours and the relevant supervisor. And once you have that in place, you have to first reach out to the supervisor with your research proposal, a short version of that, and a short kind of email, because they receive a whole lot of emails all the time. So you have to keep it brief. And if the supervisor feels that, yes, you are a good candidate, then he or she will respond that, please now apply. I'm happy to take you on as a PhD student, and now please apply through the admissions portal. So then the application will start through the application portal, right? So that's how it works. So, and of course, you can discuss funding issues with the supervisor.
Well, thank you for that. Just briefly, just on closing, anything which you recommend in terms of timing? And I know the published times are last week of January for undergrad and March for popular master's courses, but anything which you recommend students?
Yeah, please don't apply on the last date, especially for undergrad students. We receive a whole lot of applications on the last date, and sometimes the payment doesn't go through, and the student loses a chance to apply for that particular year. So ensure that your personal statement is absolutely to your satisfaction before you put in the application. So there's no need to rush if you're not fully set with your personal statement, because you are applying to one of these aspirational universities. You better get your documentation and your personal statement in place before you submit it. If it takes a little longer to apply, that's fine. But however, don't please apply on the last date. Like I said before, it just could jeopardize your application itself.
Right. On that note, I think we've pretty much covered everything. Thank you for your time, Dolan, and certainly we'll follow up with all the inquirers and people who were not able to attend because they were working also. But certainly a lot of information which has been given out, and we'll do the follow-up. And thank you, Deepika, also for sharing your points of view. I think it was really useful to get and hear from a recent alumni student.
You're welcome.
Lovely.
Right, Dolan, thank you for that.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was a
and
pleasure
we'll-
to be with you as
Yeah.
always.
as always, we'll see you on the next session soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.